Welcome to the Citadel, the place where deities, gods, and goddesses reside, along with their children, their demigods. Some create these children, some birth these children, some find these children. Either way, they are all brought up in the Citadel, and they're made to perfection, according to their adjacent deity. The Citadel looks down on the world of Zenall, where they have crafted cities to go along with their temples that serve these goddesses, and deities alike. The Citadel is crafted into a hexagon, and those hexagon domains where each of these gods lie. There is a center, which is known as the most powerful deity. As of right now, that goes to God Robanthus, where he lies in the domain of creation. The domain of creation where farmlands and rural areas flourish. The smell of sage and rosemary goes about the land, and everybody has always successfully crafted and grew whatever they needed. Is the domain of flourishing and the domain of fauna and flora. Next biggest domain is the domain of death and decay, which is ruled by the goddess Momortum. The domain of death and decay has to be the largest due to the amount of spirits that they carry. The domain tends to have a darker atmosphere. It's known as an eternal gravesite. There are small pointed huts that are aligned everywhere within the domain of death and decay, where the Sisters of the Final Sleep go on today by the grave sites, tend to them as gardens. To those that have seen or have had otherworldly sightings of the death and decay domain, have said they have often seen orbs of light fluttering around, like ones would call firebugs. Across from the domain of death and decay is the domain of resolution, where the god Absalom, or Paz as some know her by, resides. The goddess or deity Paz or Absalom goes by they, she pronouns, so they are known as a deity or a goddess. It does not matter which to her you pick. All that matters to them is how you are thriving in your own eternal peace and happiness. In the nature of resolution, the domain curates to almost a peaceful campsite, where what is the most resolution within a campsite where both mortals and nature can come together as one. The domain of discovery is where the goddess Ismene is most apparent. The domain of discovery is filled with copper piping, gears, stained glass. It's filled with libraries and science labs. It idolizes the STEM learnings and is powered fully on steam power. A lot of temples that are curated around the goddess Ismene are actually universities and libraries, and knowledge that comes from them. The knowledge that has come from this domain has actually helped the entirety of the world Zenall create and discover within itself. Next to the domain of discovery is the domain of risk and possibility, where gaming, gambling, bartering, and partying is the name of the game. This domain has never been known to sleep and has always been awake and thriving and partying all night long. Think, I wonder in Zenall where the greatest clubs are. I can guarantee you they're the ones that are constantly worshipping our deity Haddon. Haddon only goes by Haddon maybe once in a while. Haddon is known. What is the risk of possibility? Risking a name. Maybe not liking a name one week and switching it up for a name is too powerful to have only one, so why not have a couple hundred? This domain is run by Haddon's children. Where is Haddon getting these children? No one really remembers Haddon actually having any relationships in the past. They just simply appear. And let me tell you, when they appear, the party just gets harder. And where we will leave off is the domain of conflict. The domain of conflict is run by the god Alcindor. This domain is covered in mountain terrains and has small villages built within the dips and curves of the mountainside. This domain often smells of burning coal from the blacksmiths that go up and down within this, we'll say, medium dwelling domain. This domain is known for war and the anger that is known to worship within battle. Alcindor is not known for staying one age. Alcindor is actually known for moving up and down the scale. For within war grows different maturities, and nothing in battle ever stays the same. So let's get into this. Now that you have that background of our Citadel, it's a cool morning across the Citadel. It's quiet. In the domain of resolution, the crickets are chirping, the birds are whistling. There's like that little mist of fireflies that go around. There's that light smell of flowers from the domain of resolution that sweeps into the domain of conflict, where you can suddenly hear just like pounding of metal and smell of coals on fire and just arguing on arguing on arguing. And then it shifts through to the domain of discovery, which you can see different gears turning through different libraries and different sciences throughout the world, into the larger world of Mamortums, where you can see little spirit and spirit orbs starting to come out of the ground and to just wander about their day. And ending in the domain of creation, where it's a hustle and bustle, because everybody's getting ready for the 300,718th deity gather that happens every 100 mortal years. We are slipping back into the domain of conflict, where we see a red-headed girl. Zoe, would you like to introduce your character?
Sure, I guess. Okay. So it's been so long since I've introduced a character. Where do I even start? Okay. I will be playing the character Serena. She also goes by Ina. She is, imagine what the perfect barbarian woman looks like, but add a giant helping of pastel pop to it. She has this bright orangey red mane mop of curls on her head that goes all the way down to her waist. But for some reason, and she can't ever seem to get rid of it, this giant white streak that's in her head, like just goes across her head in her hair. It looks really good though. She is a whopping like 5'10", 5'11". She will always, at least in this domain as of right now, you will never see her without her giant trusty sword and armor on her body. She is gladiator femme fatale.
What is Serena doing right now while getting ready for the deity gather? This will be your first one, by the way.
Okay. So then, if this is her first one, do typically and I forgot to mention this earlier, do typically the children of Alcindor dress up for it? Do they typically wear, like, I would imagine, how
they go
the people in the military have like their dress blues and stuff. Like, how would a typical child of Alcindor dress
up? A lot of people in Alcindor's territory will just wear chainmail, just casually. They do tend to take that off for this, and they go more for like the leather look.
Okay, so I would imagine, because she's just that good, she never wears chainmail. I'm really hyping her up because right now she's level 20. She's wearing, I would imagine, like her the armor that was passed to her by her dad, and also like she's personally taken care of. She knows how to take care of her own armor, and it is like her best leather armor. And it is like, and then she will have, instead of like her giant badass two-handed sword, she will instead go for a short sword that will come with her, because Alcindra's children never go anywhere without a weapon, but she knows she can't bring like the big, like, giant.
And was it a weapon you forged, or was it one of your brothers that forged it?
Oh, definitely something that she forged. She doesn't trust anybody else to make her own stuff other than, what's his name? Gosh, I forget for a second. Oh God, I don't know my own character. Anir. Anir is the only other person other than her father that she would trust with her armor and her swords, or any weapon that she uses.
So while you're getting ready, where is Ina currently? Is she in her room? Is she just out and about, waiting for the gather to start?
I imagine that Ina is within her room. She is currently trying to figure out, should she wear her hair up? Should she put her hair in the typical like braid that she puts her hair into when she's fighting? Should she put her hair up? Like, whatever she needs to do. She's trying to figure it out. And then she's also trying to figure out, can I get away with wearing a little bit of blush and eyeshadow to this?
While you're figuring that out, there is a knock on your door.
I imagine she's like walking to the door. She has her hair like currently, like she's attempting to do like a half up, half down kind of thing, and has like bobby pins, or like I would assume, like, instead of it being like bobby pins, they're in Alcindor's domain. They're not bobby pins, but they're little swords. And then she's like trying to like stick them in and like trying to figure out something. They're little cocktail swords. And then she's like opening up the door as she has like a couple of them in her mouth, and she's like, hi. Like, as she's like standing there, and she's like awkwardly like holding the door open with her foot.
So
as she's trying to figure out her hair.
So where Serena lives is, so the fun part about Alcindor's territory is there's more than enough places for his children to live and to do what they need to. So there's townhomes everywhere. There are areas for the children to just like have roommates in. There's boy bunkers, there's girl bunkers. Right now you are in one of the girl bunkers. And who comes in is one of your sisters, Harlow.
Sweet.
And she goes, what are you doing?
She takes them out of her mouth, and she's like, well, I was trying to figure out what to do with my hair situation. I guess it's not important right now. Is there something that you need?
As you look at Harlow, her hair's in a slicked back, just like long ponytail. She has like the most obsidian dark hair. Her eyes sort of narrow in at a point. She always has like this resting scowl on her face. She's in more of like a halter style leather top with just like some baggier pants, and she goes, Dad was looking for you, I guess. I don't know. I was told to just like give you the message.
Okay, thanks, I guess.
Also, look out for Mars. I heard that he's up to some shit today.
Okay, anything in particular? Is it the axe thing again?
I think he's going for like a tiny axe thing, not like the full-blown one. Like he made little ones.
Okay, he just needs to accept that they're just throwing knives. He can't just, can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna make an X, but I'm gonna make it tiny. That's not how that works.
Apparently he wants them to be like throwing. I don't know. Mars is just doing Mars shit, and people are just letting him because he has his own blacksmithing studio, which honestly I think is a waste of resources, but it's none of my business.
Okay, I will go around that area just and try to find a quick way to get to Dad, because you know how he gets. But thank you for letting me know so I don't end up
barbecued.
Trying to barbecued or having my scalp removed like it was the last time.
Yeah, you don't look good with that haircut.
No, I don't. That's why it takes almost a millennia to get it to look like this.
Yeah, it does. Okay, yeah, I am going to finish getting ready. Oh, put some blush on your face. You look a little bit pale.
Oh, thanks. I thought I already put some on, but thanks. And Ina lets the door close by letting her foot get away from it, and then goes and looks, and then she's like, I already look really pink because her skin tone isn't like that lovely like skin tone that has like those brighter pink undertones, but makes her look just a little red, little pink. And so if she's looking pale, she's got to put on some blush. And then I guess like a nice smoky eyeliner. And that's all she's going to do. And she's just going to let her hair be down. She's not going to fuss with it.
While you go find your father before the gather happens, in the domain of resolution, where it's basically a Disney princess's dream. I mean, there's birds chirping and animals just like giving each other hugs, and just like little guys just like expressing themselves and being happy. There is a beautiful goddess walking about with super almost white blonde hair going past her waist, almost touching her ass. Let's be honest here. The biggest blue eyes, full lips. She's standing at a 5'6" height, a little bit more scrawny. She's wearing a beautiful white gown that's just flowing behind her, that has like a slit that's going up her leg, and she's completely barefoot. A bird comes down and just like puts a flower in her hair, and she just like touches it and goes, little friends. And she looks around and sees a person in the grass digging frantically, almost mumbling to himself of, I'm sure I planted this here. Why isn't it here anymore? Kyle, would you like to introduce your character?
I would. So you see Murphy digging through the ground, and like it's like this entire I want to say it's like a 10-foot area that they've just been like digging up. Like God damn it, I can't figure out where this shit is. I put this shit down here like a week ago and now it ain't here no more. God. I hate the fucking people who do, I forget what you call them. Anyway,
Murphy, we don't use that language.
Completely
here.
absorbed in what they're doing.
Yeah, Murphy, we don't do that language.
No, that's
here.
a fucking dahlia. No, that's a fucking tree sapling. No, that's not what I put down. That's wheatgrass. The fuck is wheatgrass doing here?
Murphy.
Huh? What? Oh shit! Sorry. I was very, into what I was doing right there.
Murphy,
What's up?
We don't use that language here, and you know that.
Oh, my bad.
That's the language.
Still getting used to the whole thing, when Phil Robanthus sent me over here.
Yeah, I know. It's been a few months. I was hoping you would have gotten to it, but it doesn't seem that you have quite taken to it. Are you okay? I just wanted to make sure everything was fine.
I just put a plant down here, and I don't know if it was the I don't know who moved it, but I might also be in the wrong place because again, I'm not used to this area fully yet. But
do you know what you planted?
Yeah, it was a snowdrop, or a snowdrop flower.
I thought I saw like a chipmunk or something with something like that. Sorry.
Now I gotta go talk to the chipmunk.
No, I'm sorry. You know how they are here. It's like their own little safe hideaway and everything.
Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna go, reprimand him.
No,
I just wanted to
fine.
figure out, where he did put it.
Yeah, I totally get it. It's fine. I wanted to check up on you before the gather. It's been a few months since you've seen Robanthus, and I know the last time you guys saw each other didn't quite go as expected, so I just wanted to check up on you. And you're going to be seeing all your brothers and sisters again, and you're just siblings all together because
Yeah, that I'm more excited about. I mean, I can work my stuff out with Robanthus. I got no problem with that. But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
I know he's been very testy. Oh, because he still hasn't been able to find his successor, and it's been quite the millennia.
Well, see, and that's I can understand. I don't have to forgive him right away, but I can understand the reasoning, so I get it. Yeah,
yes. I just wanted to check up on you because I just wanted to keep everything peaceful today. Even knowing that my brother Elcinder will be there. We're going to try and keep it calm and quiet and not like the last gather. Yes.
You see Murphy chuckles a little bit and is like, yeah, that's fair. I do want to apologize for being louder than I thought I was being there looking for the plant.
No, sweetheart, you're fine. You're not from this domain. You're still learning how to navigate your way through it. That's the reason for this. That's the reason why Robanthus wanted some of you to come around, especially because you've made so many other things thrive in my domain. And when she says that, you actively notice the pile of clover that is known to be the easiest thing to plant and known for it to just grow all over is just slowly wilting behind you.
I like to think that Murphy's way of planting things, is there any magic involved, or is it actual physical planting seeds?
It's physical planting seeds and then having the foresight and to be able to keep the creation from doing the creating. So
Gotcha.
Having that foresight of, oh, this plant's hungry right now. Oh, this plant needs more sun. You can basically, in a way, speak and feel the plant's needs.
Right.
Because in a way, you are one.
Right. Well, I think Murphy's style of, and this
Murphy's
tells you
a
a
cactus.
lot about Murphy.
Murphy's a cactus.
Murphy's style of planting things is they they take their dagger and just like stab it into the ground, and then they like scrape their dagger along the ground to like create the trough to put the seed in. And then they just dump water on the seed.
Go grow.
Like it grows. It just doesn't work that well.
Please grow.
Yeah, and right now, did you say this woman's name, by the way?
It's Absalom or Paz that's in front of you.
Oh, right. I forgot. Yeah. So if Paz were to look, she would see like 2 daggers just in the ground in random locations in this little pad.
She's looking directly at you. She is not looking behind you. She has actively made that decision to just look at you.
Yeah. Murphy's not bringing it up in hopes that they don't get in trouble. But yeah, Murphy just kind of does a little bow and is like, yeah, I'm getting used to this area, but sometimes when I get frustrated, my old self comes out, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. What I meant by that is you have taught like the chipmunks and squirrels how to like actually like fend for themselves, so I don't have to feed them as often anymore. And you taught the birds to send messages, and it has been a great help actually having you around, knowing that they are moving to their best and fullest potential.
Yeah. Murphy, I don't know if I ever described what Murphy is wearing, but Murphy's basically wearing a vest, and then underneath kind of like a...
Why don't you fully describe Murphy?
Yeah, so Murphy is... hold on, let me check the character sheet because I forget how tall they are. So Murphy is 5'8". They are non-binary, and they tend to favor the color green, except for their hair, which is mostly white with green on the ends. Doesn't matter what Murphy tries to do. The green just doesn't stick unless it's on the ends. Their hair does go down to their chest. And their chosen attire at most times is going to be like some flowy pants, some comfortable shoes, a vest, and then I don't know what you would call it, but it's like a wrapping around their chest, but it only...
Like a binder, but not really a binder.
Yeah, basically like a binder. Yeah, but yeah, and they love the color green. Their clothes are basically all green except for the binder style clothing, which is like tan-ish. And yeah, that is Murphy.
So Absalom is staring at you, and she goes, "You are truly a delight, and you are welcome here at any point. Now, if you would like to come back here after the gather, you're more than welcome to. However, if you do want to go back to your domain, simply just go. You don't have to let me know. I will, if you do not come back, I will know that you are safe and happy."
Well, if you'll pardon me being a little casual, that's more up to Rabanthus than it is to me.
I understand.
If he don't let me in, that's on him. So
I understand that, but I just wanted to let you know that you are always welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Before anything else is said, I know you've chosen not to look behind me, but the mess that I made, I will 100% clean up.
I'm not looking at the clovers. If anything, the wildlife will clean it up. It will be more than fine.
Yeah, I'll do what I can to help them, though, because I feel flatly responsible.
Everything happens for a reason, and hopefully we can all make peace from it.
Fair enough.
And she walks away, full Disney princess, just like things following her, in the like very foresty, like wilderness, almost looking like a yoga retreat sort of situation. You can see some of Paz's children in the background. A few that you are pretty good friends with at this point, Murphy, would be like Sugar and Crystal and Virgo. and there's also Fen and Cover, and those like are ones that you've talked to. They all have kind of the same atmosphere that Paz has, where I wouldn't say they're a little flighty, but like they're all about like keeping the peace, and they're very artsy, and they like reading, and they all just seem to have this harmony together. And you've come to enjoy this domain in the past few months that you have been here compared to the domain of creation.
Yeah, I think Murphy's gonna like look around and just be like in their head, just like, it is nice here. I really do like it. And honestly, like Paz's dress, good Lord. I would love that dress.
Feel like a princess.
Yeah. Just in their head, I want to be a fucking princess.
Fuck this demigod shit. Okay. As Murphy goes to clean up their mess and he starts to get ready for the gather that is to happen in a few hours, Serena, you walk into the main camp that is created within the domain of conflict, because one would think as a god, the god would live in a castle or like a mansion of some sort, not in the domain of conflict. The god of Alcindor will forever live in a war camp. So he is currently in the largest tent that is in the main war camps area within the domain of conflict.
I imagine it's like what, like just straight up like pit fires and all sorts of other stuff that's just surrounding him.
Probably some of the biggest helms, the biggest areas for blacksmithing. Like, yeah, there's like all those like mining and blacksmithing stuff all around the domain of conflict just to create weapons. Not a shield to be found. There's no shields within the domain of conflict.
Nope. Shields are for losers.
I think it would be hilarious if, like, off in the background, you see a person trying to hide a shield that they accidentally made. They were trying to make a sword, but it ended up being a shield.
Why is it round?
It's Mars. Every single time he tries to make a tiny throwing axe that's somehow supposed to be just throwing knives, it's just shields.
You see an old store with a storefront that's falling apart and it's abandoned and it's Shields Plus.
It's abandoned. So I see Anir, Zaddy, Pedro, Pascal.
Hello, Ina.
Ina just like waves enthusiastically and kind of like trying to like, you know, like that ramrod straight back like walk that soldiers do, but she has like just the tiniest of a little skip to it.
Your father asked for you.
Hi, Anir.
You always laugh.
Great.
You always laugh when you hear my voice. I don't understand.
It's because just a little, just tiny bit funny whenever I first hear you, especially when you call me names like Remy.
That was a blooper.
No, it wasn't. It's canon now.
No, it's not.
Remy exists in this universe. She's too powerful.
She's too powerful. This is exactly what Peter wanted.
This is where we find out that Remy is one of the three sisters.
Oh, fuck. The one that likes the drama.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oswald's the one that's like sleeping all the time.
Just constantly giving like constant critical recaps on like everything. But then Michael's just sitting there as like, just sitting there on her moon like, oh my God. And then Rivers is the one where it's like, never faces the sun.
Oswald's still trying to become a good cook.
Your father's waiting. Your father's waiting for you.
Okay. And so I look at him and I go, do you think it's good news or bad news?
I think it's warning news.
Warning news. Okay.
I wouldn't call good or bad.
Okay. And so she straightens herself up. She like makes sure that her hair is like perfect in the back, that her sword, like at least the short sword, because again, like she knows she's supposed to carry around her bigger sword when she's with her dad, but she's didn't think of that as she was like getting ready, because it's either you're late or you don't show up, and it's that's the way it rolls with her dad. And so she carries herself in like head of command, like kind of deal.
When you walk in, you see, I wouldn't say a man, you would see a teenager who looks around the age of 17 currently.
I would imagine I wouldn't address him as father, correct?
No.
I would address him as, what do we address him as? Not as Alcindor. Is there like a specific name that we would go by other than Alcindor? Is it like a specific title or something that we would address him by?
I just know Murphy calls him good old Al.
Good old Al.
Directly at your father, who is just like looking down at his map right now, and it's just a full map of Zenall that he's looking at.
So then she comes in and she like stands at attention and waiting for him to address her before she addresses him.
After about a minute, he looks up and he goes, Centennial?
And she nods and she goes, oh God, I can't do the voice. Ah, shit, fuck. She just goes, Legatus. And like nods and staring straight ahead.
You know, today is our gather. The last one, I will not say went well, and I will take full ownership for starting that fight that happened last 100 years ago. You were not here for it. However, I wanted to warn you that every one of these gathers, something weird happens. Whether it has to do with one of the gods fighting, or like the kids breaking out and just something. There's always some form of drama. So I wanted to warn you, my daughter, that if something were to happen, that you go hide in the domain of death and decay until I come retrieve you.
I think that kind of like takes her back for a minute, because no one's allowed in that domain unless like Memortum tells you to.
Yeah, no, and he looks at her and goes, Memortum has already granted you access and entry.
And I guess like at that, like she takes like the, not like second guessing, but like the questioning look off her face and goes back to like that steely, like, yes sir kind of attitude face.
That was all. You can leave now.
And then I feel like she would say this.
You do it.
It's just because I mean she would, because it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She would go, Harlow mentioned that Mars is at it again with the tiny axis. The tiny axis.
I don't want to talk about Mars. He is right now my biggest failure, and I don't know what to do with him.
At least
I even gave him a cool name. I gave him one of the best names. This is what he's doing.
At least it's not Shields.
At least it's not shields. You're correct.
Can't end up like Jackson.
At least he made that shield sharp on the edges. Give him
More like a square.
made it very easy for me to wound him. Kind of stupid. We threw that away, right? That's in the river, probably going down to the domain of resolution, not revolution. What's revolution? What's revolution?
Oh.
The domain of resolution.
It was ordered to immediately go into the fires and then to be reused in order to come up with something that would actually work, like mail or some kind of giant spear if we were able to fix it.
Oh, okay. You know what? Good on you for recycling that material. Thank you so much, Ina. You can leave.
And then she turns at attention and walks out.
The gather is about 2 hours away from happening. What do you guys do in that time within the 2 hours?
This is gonna sound silly.
Nothing Ina does sound silly.
Okay, my question is, do Ina and Murphy know each other?
So
Has Murphy ever been sent out to different domains before, or is this the first time?
So this is the first time going out on your own to a different domain. You have been to the domain of conflict before, especially because you have to go through it to get to the domain of resolution. So
Right.
You have been there before. I would say you guys know about each other more in passing than you would like actually know each other. Like you probably maybe met once.
Right, like I've seen Serena before, but not like interacted really.
Yeah, like you've probably
Yeah.
been like, hi, Serena's probably introduced herself. You probably introduced yourself, but that was probably as much as
I
it.
think what Murphy realistically would have done is like walking by would have seen Serena and be like, "Oh my God, I love your hair."
And then they would have talked for like 85,000 years about
Yeah.
her.
And Serena would have been like, I really need to go back to this blacksmith.
Murphy really pays attention to their hair. Like it's long, it's flowy, it's very full. And they really want to make sure their hair is really well taken care of. So seeing Serena's hair, Murphy would have been like, "You look great. I swear, you look great."
Okay, so Ina, because I wanted to like just figure out if they would have known each other than just talking about hair care. This is gonna sound really silly, but I think Ina would go back to her room, like in her in the barracks or the wherever she's sequestered herself.
Well, I will say, as of right now, I think it'd be fun if Ina put in a request for her own personal townhome, but it has yet to be approved.
Yeah, because like I think like her rank as first cohort Centurion is brand new.
Yeah.
And so like the people who are like in charge of their own like groups and like the ranks and stuff, like your rank is based upon where you sleep, and I think that would just be a fun little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's worked her ass off to get to this spot, and this is like one of the coveted spots to have.
Yeah.
And so she goes back to like her dorm. And is she in a single dorm, or does she share the dorm with somebody?
So you have your own room in said dorm, but there are 3 other girls within the dorm with you.
Okay. So she goes back into her specific one. And so she makes sure, 1, the door is locked. 2, the blinds are drawn. No one can see in, like those lovely blackout curtains.
Uh-huh.
And then she goes into her closet and she pulls out the most pretty princess dress you've ever seen in your life. And she continues to sew on it because she loves it. And so the way that she gets these things is by, I would imagine she has to do like a lot of secret shit to get these materials, because these materials are like considered illegal in this
You
domain.
somehow keep going to the domain of risk and possibility where they just have everything.
Mm-hmm. And like she's just able to like get these things, and is like sewing, like when she's in the confines of her room where it's like the downtime for herself, like she spends her time sewing dresses and outfits for herself. And so she's going to spend this time doing that, as she's currently in leather armor and has a sword and all this other stuff. But it's like it's like dresses where it's like pastel, but still has like that degree of like a warrior would wear this dress kind of.
Yeah.
Or a warrior would wear this like jumpsuit. Like it has like metal elements in it with like pastel vibes. Like it is very much like a very specific niche of a kind of outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she spends her time doing. And then she, I guess, like presumably like beforehand, like she'll give herself enough time to show up early, but not being late. Like, you know, like that.
Yeah.
You got to show up 30 minutes early.
So, Murphy, what are you doing?
Does Murphy's situation also have like dorms, or does Murphy have their own
Murphy,
place?
You were given the opportunity to either choose one of the very luxe and relaxing townhomes that are in the domain of resolution, or you can just like be one with nature and hide out in the trees and sleep up there. You can do whatever feels what's best for you and your body.
Do it, you and your
I was already thinking about that. I think what Murphy would realistically do is they're gonna like get ready and make sure their clothes are all set. They're gonna go to this thing in like their flowy pants and vest and chest wrap, but they're definitely like just conked out in a tree right now, taking a nap.
Okay. So as the day goes by, dawn very quickly approaches, and the gather starts in the domain of creation, where all the children start filing in from all the different domains, except for the domain of death and decay, for there are no children in the domain of death and decay. There are only sisters of the... I always forget the sisters' names. Good thing I have all these notes!
Temperance, honored, and drama queen.
Sisters of the final sleep. They're only sisters of the final sleep and basically Memortum. And they have hooded cloaks on, so you really can't see their face. The cloaks are like embroidered with silver, like florals around it. It's like fully dark velvet, so like you can't even see what they look like. They kind of just look like wraiths on just like going into the domain of creation, which is all green, which is covered in greenhouses, which is covered in just like livestock and like all of this hustle and bustle, and everything's just like all about creating and making, except for anything poisonous or anything having to do with doing the opposite of creating, which is dying. Those are created within the domain of death and decay. So mushrooms, any poisonous plants, any poisonous animals, those are within the animals within the domain of death and decay. So as everybody starts to go in, it almost looks like a blimp airship in the air. And for all of the people or immortals that reside on the Citadel who aren't like fully integrated with their deity, or just don't have any of that, like, in internal relationships with them, they can then watch this from their television. And sometimes there's been rumors of this being televised to the citizens of Zenall. But it's not really to the citizens. It's really to the demigods that are allowed to go down to Zenall, which really is the ones only with the attributes between the domain of resolution and the ones of discovery. No one really knows where Haddon gets their children. They just sort of show up and everyone's like, yeah, okay.
One of them knocks on his door and he's like, oh, hey, you're a kid. Okay, you're my kid now. Great.
I think we established in that stream that they just go out and they're constantly just adopting children.
Yeah, they go out in Zenall and see the ones that are being real scrapped, and they go, you.
Like this energy we got here.
Yeah.
I would love if Haddon was just like New York, like, hey, kid, I like the cut of your jib.
I like your energy. I like the fact that you just tried to steal that bread from that woman. That's fucking fantastic. Get over here.
The way you outran those cops, priceless.
It shows me you're a good runner, which means discovering, which means, searching for stuff is discovering. Go run for me.
He's not discovery. He's risk impossibility.
He's risk impossibility, my dude.
They're risk impossibility.
I forgot.
Ismene, I feel like, should be like Boston. Like, you see?
If you can't do it, I can't do it. Remember that.
I can't do it. No, I immediately wanted to slip into New York, but I thought that would just be funny. Just Boston.
Boston.
We gotta go out and we gotta discover.
So within the blimp, you just see like two very sparkly demigods, and there's like, can you believe the gather is happening again? And the guy that's with her is just like looking at her, and he goes, I have to find my names. This is why I made all these names. He just goes, no, Cora, I'm extraordinarily excited. Oh my god. Like, they're crazy. And then she goes,
oh, is this like newscaster type shit?
Yeah. And she goes, Finnick, you know all about the risk and possibility. Do we have any idea about the domain of risk and possibility for tonight? And Finnick is just like, so I heard from our parent, Haddon. Oh wait, no, they're going by Rio. They're going by Rio again? Or are they going? Did they choose another one? I think it's Rio this week. Rio, hell yeah! You see this?
You like, just hear chanting Rio, Rio, Rio.
They're just like, can you see all these guys just coming into the domain of creation? Man, Robanthus is gonna have a rough time cleaning up this mess. Do you remember 100 years ago, Kate? Oh wait, Cora? Yes, I remember 100 years ago, Finnick. Oh my god, it was a fucking mess. Did you see that? Alcinder's people crazy. Like, the anger management on those guys is fucking nuts. I hope we see something crazy break out. This is gonna be streamed all fucking night, guys. And that's what you're dealing with from up in the sky.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was in this world, I would change the channel. I'm already annoyed by them. Just not Murphy, me. I'm annoyed by them.
Well, you guys don't go into the domain of risk and possibility a lot, but it's a lot of that energy or a lot of focused energy on, I'm going to fuck over these people. Give me a second.
Yeah.
So, as that's going on, everyone, you see Robanthus just sort of like flick his fingers from the center of the Citadel, and a little orb goes around the blimp, only for it to keep their voices in the blimp, because he's just like, all right, Haddon, Rio, you're going by Rio? Yeah, I'm going by Rio. Just trying this out. Haddon got born. All right, okay, you need so hard to just make your kid shut up. And goes, I mean, if I'm not going to shut up, they're not going to shut up. I'm just
Cut to
saying.
Murphy. God, I really wish they would shut up.
And then, like, Rio will, like, sit back and be like, where's Memortum? She here yet? I just want to see her, really. And Robanthus is just, like, holding the bridge of his nose, and he goes, it's only 100 years. It's once every 100 years. That's it. And they all can go back.
I love that Robanthus. We were thinking, oh, sweet hippie farmer man. Turns out crotchety farmer man.
Yeah, crotchety old, get off my lawn.
He doesn't like, he's so over these. He's done them so often, he's just like, I need somebody else. I've
done this 10,000 times.
It never ends good. Something shitty happens.
Every single time.
As everybody starts getting together within the giant celebration and gathering, Serena and Murphy you guys do show up within the center of the hexagon for Robanthus's speech. And after you see him done just like speaking with Rio, you also notice Alcindor behind where Rio is, where Memortum is, where she finally shows up. She kind of just appears there out of like a puff of smoke. Paz just like lightly floats down like a beautiful angel, and the way Alcindor Ismene just like walks in, like she's just like, I'm over this. I was doing stuff and this is the stupidest thing that we have to do. Why are we keeping this tradition? It never goes well. Ismene is wearing like a full golden like outfit. She's just like radiating just like goddess energy, and she like stands next to Paz, and her and Paz just like smile at each other. Alcindor is standing there like full 2 hands on his sword, looking dead into the crowd, mostly at his children.
Can we say he came in on a chariot?
I was gonna say he fell to the ground like a fucking meteor.
Yeah,
just,
that
like
was it.
either that, like coming in on like chariot meteor, guys. He could be like Helios and have his chariot meteor.
You just see a point of light in the sky that gets brighter for a little bit, and then just like he crashes to the ground. Pretty much.
Murphy, when you show up and you go toward your brothers and sisters, you notice a lot of them glaring at you.
Uh-oh.
Murphy's just gonna kind of like do a little wave and be like, hey y'all, how you doing?
One of them looks at you. It's one of your siblings. Their name is Ivy. And they're just like, turn around.
Okay, did I miss something?
Turn around.
All right, fine. I ain't gonna argue. I don't feel like being confrontational today, much to your liking, I guess.
They do start like whispering something behind you. If you want to listen in on that, you totally can.
Yeah, let's see if I can use my new I don't think I said this yet, but Murphy's a rogue.
Your new abilities.
My new abilities, eh?
How far away is Ina from this situation?
So I'm going to say the children of the center are within the center, so standing right in front of Robanthus. To the left is the domain of resolution. To the right is the domain of conflict, because there has to be the center in between them or else shit gets wild. Then next to the children of Alcindor is discovery. And then next to the ones of resolution is risk and possibility.
So am I close enough to hear them? I just want to roll dice.
I know. I'm trying to.
I'm going to roll perception real quick.
Because I was about to say, I have a focus in hearing, and I get to use my auditory sense.
You can focus on what, because it seems like a lot of them are muttering about it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 13 on my perception, by the way.
Okay.
So would I add my +2 to hearing as well as my +1 to perception? So it's a +3?
Yes.
Okay, guys, this is like the first time we're playing this. Don't
forgot
get all up in arms.
I'm not home right now, and I forgot my dice, and I feel bad.
Okay, I got 2 6s, and then on my dragon die, I got a 1, so it's a 13 + 3, 16.
Damn.
Okay, so Murph is sort of hearing. You're sort of hearing I can't believe he chose him. I can't believe he chose them. I can't believe that's who he's going with. Like, they aren't even what's going on. And Serena, you're hearing a little bit more of Robanthus chose his next successor. Robanthus chose his next successor. I can't believe they chose them. Why would they choose them? They're always struggling to do anything. Robanthus finally chose their next successor. And the domain of creation isn't known for being malicious or jealous normally.
Do I see Serena by chance? Do I like catch a flash of
Serena's toward the front of the lineup, so if you're toward the front, yeah.
Yeah, I would assume Murphy is towards the front if people behind them are talking.
Then yes, you can probably see Serena from your point of view.
So I ignore the negativity coming from behind me, and I see Serena, and I'm like, "Hey, red hair girl with the white streak." I never got your name.
Now, are you screaming this, or are you whispering it while Robanthus is actively having a speech right now? I just need to know.
I'm like trying to whisper yell,
that
but like
whisper yell.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm like waving my hand a little bit, like trying to whisper, like, hey, I'm over here, look. I'm trying to be quiet, and I am. I would like to. I am being respectful of Robanthus, but like I wasn't expecting to see Serena right away.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Serena, I think because they like. Alcinder's children are trained to not give away anything. The only kind of like hint of her like acknowledging you is just that her eyes like flick over to you, and that's it. Everything, especially because her dad is literally right in front of her. She is not going, she is like literally, that is the only dead giveaway that she is acknowledging your presence right now, because she literally cannot otherwise.
I catch that, I give a little salute, and I face Robanthus. Like, yep, got it. Don't worry.
I would imagine Murphy would be like, hey, you ever get that that pays? Like, I would imagine that's not what Murphy would do. Murphy would be like the kind of person who doesn't understand social norms and just continue to be.
Murphy the non-binary autistic.
Murphy 100% doesn't understand social norms and is like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I feel like in the moment, and like ignore everybody else. But also, Murphy's gonna like, before they kind of like give the salute, they're gonna do like a hand motion of like, let's meet up after, and then just turn back.
God, I don't want my dad to look at me right now, because I imagine she is turning a deeper shade of pink.
Can I do a perception into Alcinder to see if I can see if Alcinder's pissed or not?
He's not paying attention. I just will say.
I was about to say.
He rolled a 4. He's fine.
He's too busy being like, God, when is the speech going to be over?
Yeah, right. He's leaned back in his chair. His hand is covering his eyes like, ugh.
At the very end, you just hear Robin say, and thank you for... sorry. And thank y'all for coming to the 300... for the 300,718. Is it that one? That one? Okay. Gather. We hope for you all to mingle, and please do not start any fights. Alcinder's children. Thank you.
Man, I'm feeling some hostility.
It's just because
y'all broke 3 greenhouses last time. I'm not doing it again. So, Ina.
Mm-hmm.
You notice next to you is Anir. Anir was standing next to you during that entire encounter, and he just goes, So you want to talk to your family, or do you want to talk to others? What's going on?
Well, this is my first one. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do.
Mingle. We eat snacks. We mingle. We hope for no fights.
Okay. And she immediately making sure that her dad is not watching, and she immediately dashes towards Murphy and drags them over to the snack table.
Well, that's good. I wanted to get a snack anyway.
I do have a question. Is Murphy vegetarian coming from the domain of creation?
I would love if
coming
they were.
From creation, I don't. Is the domain of creation mostly vegetarian?
Mm-hmm.
It depends.
Or do they prefer it if you are, but don't care if you're not?
Yeah, that's kind of where it is.
Okay. I think Murphy would have been respectful of that and eaten whatever food they had.
Okay.
But then when they started traveling and going to different realms or different areas, they would try the food in different areas, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Very adventurous with their palate. So they pretty much just grab a plate and load up one of everything. I don't even know what this is. Is this fish? I don't know if this is fish. This doesn't look like fish.
That's I think squid.
Whatever. I'll try it. You want some? As Murphy's been chewing for the last 3 minutes because squid is very chewy.
Ina gives the most disgusted look because tentacles. She's no thanks. I think I'm gonna try some of the soup.
That's fair. You do you. So, how you been? It's been what? 2 months, 3 months? How long has it been? My sense of time is all fucked.
Enough for my hair to be shaved off and to grow back. So at least 5.
Why'd they shave your hair?
One of my brothers has a thing with tiny axes, and when he gets upset, he throws them. And yeah, so it chopped off a lot of my hair, and so I had to cut it all off.
That sounds like it was quite the ordeal. I can't say I've been through anything like that before, but, I have accidentally stabbed myself with my daggers a couple times. It's been fun.
How? You can't accidentally stab yourself. That's a lot that you have. How?
Be honest with you, I have no idea. I use my daggers in my planting and helping growing crops and whatnot.
That's not that. She's just baffled. She's this is not how you do any of that kind of mentality.
as you're talking to Murphy, Serena, one, you feel from behind you an energy that feels a lot like your brothers and sisters, and you see someone like pick up one of the bread, like one of the pieces of bread that are there with a dagger, and he just goes, "Hanging out with losers now, Ina?"
Please tell me this is Jackson with an X, and then behind him is Jackson with a CK.
Actually, it was going to be Dorian, but we can make it Jackson.
Oh, Dorian. Okay. Okay, no, Dorian. Yeah, Dorian can be the douche. I want the Jacksons to be nice. So it's Dorian behind me?
Yeah, it's Dorian. He's like bulky. He's like maybe a foot taller than you. He has like dark black hair.
So he's almost 7 feet tall. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're bulky.
What's his rank?
He's a captain.
Oh, so I'm above him. Okay. So I immediately turn around and I'm just like, I have like that attitude of like, I hate this sibling. Like,
do you give Murphy a look before you turn around?
I do. I roll my eyes so hard.
Murphy just chuckles.
The hardest eye roll you've ever seen in your life. And I turn around and go, yes, Dorian, I actually enjoy hanging out with our cousins. Anything I can help you with? And then I specifically say, Captain.
Oh, you're a captain. Ain't that pretty low?
I turn back and I go, one of the lowest ranks we have.
Yeah, I thought so. Murphy just gives Dorian
You're
like a
real
huge
high and
smile.
mighty. You're real high and mighty for just getting your rank.
And
that you didn't deserve, by the way.
And you've been captain for what? 150 years now?
Mars is in my quadrant, and you know that's not my fault. Somebody needs to move him.
I look at him deep in his face and I go, it's not my fault. You can't keep your soldiers in line. And I turn back around and I continue eating my lasagna soup.
Gemma, your sister comes up and goes, Ina. And Gemma looks like a little bit more like you. She has like the more coppery hair. It is more straight. She does have like freckles that like dot her nose. At some point, you actually thought that you and Gemma might have the same mother. And she just goes, Ina.
Gemma?
Murphy. Sorry.
You know, I didn't know
Murphy
you.
eats more squid.
I didn't know you were friends with creators.
I wouldn't say friends, more so I met them in passing and when I was traveling to Paz's realm. So
okay.
I just liked their hair. We had a conversation about hair products.
So you were like an exchange student for Paz. That's what
more or less. Rob, good old Bobby sent me out. So
good old Bobby.
Yeah.
You call your creator Bobby.
Not to his face. Not yet anyway. But yeah.
Well,
I look at Murphy and I go, you don't have ranks?
Not really. No. We just kind of do our
own
thing.
How do you know who's in charge or not?
But Rob is in charge.
Okay, but then
that's all we got.
And then she like sets down her soup, and then she's just like, but then how do you know who's like next in command? Like she's like really trying to understand this because she's only ever had Alcinder's domain.
Think of it this way. You are all about conflict, which means you got to have ranks, which means you got to have warriors, which means you got to be fighting. So you got to have ranks to tell the warriors what to do. Our domain is more just about creating and living, and we don't really care about ranks. We don't really care about nothing like that. So even in
She
Paz's
has-
domain, I just kind of did whatever.
She just has this look of awe on her face, like, wow.
Yeah, honestly, when I was
But
going
it's
through
only in her eyes.
when I was going through Alcinder's domain and I look at all three of them, I'm like, I was amazed by the how together you all are, like how, commanding and how powerful y'all look.
Dorian's shoving another cinnamon roll in his mouth.
Fuck yeah.
And he's just
Get it, Dorian.
he's just like, you gotta have organization to be able to do what we do. Even the least organized of us is some of the most organized of you.
Oh,
Which
yeah,
is why
I understand that, and, your comment before about losers. Losers are often underestimated, I just want to say. Losers can win just as easily as winners. So,
yeah, but losers
just want to point
lose
that
wars.
out there. Sorry, what was that? I missed that.
Losers lose wars. You never want to be a loser, especially in our family.
That's only if you're only thinking about war, which I understand that you do. I'm not going to fault you for that. You've been in the Alcinder's domain forever. So, as Murphy's just sitting there with a nice little smile.
Takes a giant honk of squid.
bites the head of the squid because they cooked the whole thing.
Just gnawing at it.
Hey, just chewing on it like it's gum or some shit.
Hey, Ina. So, Anir was telling us something interesting, me and Gemma.
I turn back around, lasagna soup in hand.
Lasagna soup.
I legitimately in love with lasagna soup, man.
I never had it before.
It's really good. Do you want
It's so good.
Come with us and we can discuss that? Anir's coming too. Don't worry if you don't feel safe with us.
Yeah, actually, Serena, I gotta go talk to I gotta go talk to Rob for a bit. So why don't you go do your thing? I'll go do my thing. We can hang out after if you got time.
I immediately, as soon as they mention Anir, my eyes immediately start scanning to see where Anir is and where they specifically. Well, my back was turned, but so I wouldn't have known where they would have come from. But just scanning to see if Anir is in the crowd.
You can see Anir toward the back of the crowd, just sort of watching you guys.
Oh, so he's watching. Okay, and then I look at them and I swallow some of the soup and I go, couldn't Anir just have told me himself?
He wanted us to start the conversation. We don't get to talk often. Sentinel.
God, I wish there was an insight in this.
You could probably just do perception in the place.
Would it be a perception?
Yeah.
Well, because insight is
It's
basically
an insight?
perception. It's just you're trying to perceive what their intentions are.
Okay, so this would be a +1 then.
Allie, does that fit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so that's a 6, a 3 to make it a 9, a 2 to make it a 11 +1, 13. Not a good roll, but not a bad roll either.
From what you can tell, Anir's there. Nothing would. Anir would make sure nothing bad would happen to you, and these guys are so low rank anyways, you could probably beat their ass if they try something.
Okay, perfect. So I turn to Murphy and I go, could you make sure that no one touches my soup? And I hand them my soup bowl.
Yeah, actually, I don't have any saran wrap or anything like that to put over the top, so it might get cold.
That's perfectly fine. Turns out Alcinda's kids have an affinity with fire.
You don't say. All right, that's fair.
And so as I take a few steps in their direction wherever they're leading me, and I turn back around and I go, "Don't put any squid in it."
I wasn't planning on it, but
it was a last thought that she had of oh God, what if they put squid in
I can
it?
just feel Serena in your head saying, "Don't put squid."
Don't let the squid touch.
I put the bowl down for like a half second and just give a very exaggerated salute.
And then I turn at attention and follow Dorian and Gemma.
Okay.
I take the bowl of soup over to Robanthus.
Just like a bowl of soup and a bowl of like calamari is just the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Murph, you're going over to talk to Robanthus. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I might as well because, you know, they heard what the people were saying and Murphy didn't know anything about that. So they're going to be like, hey, good old Bobby, what the fuck's going on with this?
Hey, Dad, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
As you go towards him, you can see Robanthus just like chatting casually with Absalom and or Paz, depending on what name you feel like giving her at the time. You're immediately intercepted by your sibling Oak and your sister Juniper.
Of course.
Amazing. Does Oak happen to be a professor and know everything about magical beings, magical creatures that
No, he
have
just creates the motherfucker.
elemental powers? So Pokemon exist in this world.
Oak,
catch
the
him
god
all.
of oak.
Nintendo,
Oak.
don't come after us. That was a joke.
Oak, the god of oak trees and Pokemon.
Yep. Nintendo,
God.
please don't come sue us. That was a joke. I promise.
No, they're actually called pals in this world.
Oh yeah, they're called pals. You're right. Fuck.
You can definitely, like, obviously this is going to be uploaded like so much later in the future, but like, by God, you can tell like what the fuck is happening just from our references.
Oh yeah. So
I love that about
Murphy
us.
sees these two walk up and like, hey, you two, what's going on?
You want to try some squid?
Yeah, you want to try some squid?
Juniper steps up and just goes, come with us.
Uh-oh.
What am I about to get shanked in an alleyway? What's going on here?
No, you're not about to get shanked. We ain't got those weapons here. We're not stealthy enough to just grab them off of the fucking war gods. No, just come with us. Damn.
That's fair. Okay. Well, you know, you got forks and spoons. You could shake me with a spoon, realistically.
Murphy is the most not Robanthus child ever.
Have you ever seen
know
the
about
show?
shaking people with spoons.
So this is both for you guys and the listeners. Have y'all ever seen the show Ted Lasso?
No, but I've heard so much about it.
Murphy is basically Ted Lasso, and I didn't even do that on purpose.
I love that. Like, I've never seen it, but I feel like just based upon like how fucking stupid Ina is, I would love to also like assume Ted Lasso energy.
Right.
Because I don't have Apple TV, and that is the only thing I wish I could, like, that's the only thing I would want to watch from Apple TV is Ted Lasso.
I think you can start like a free trial or something and then just watch it
Yeah,
if you want to binge it in 7 days.
I'm gonna have to buy like the box set or something so that I don't
you can have
to.
Apple TV without the. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so I can just rewatch it all the time.
That's fair. Anyway, yeah.
So they intercept you and they go, come with us.
All right, just don't shake me with no spoon.
We don't got no spoons to shank you with.
I don't know. You got pockets? I don't know what's in there.
Seeds. And like, Juniper like goes into her pocket and just literally just throws it out like confetti.
Well, I would plant them more carefully than that, but I'll go with you. Don't worry.
Oak is being relatively quiet, and when you follow them, you're in this area of the Citadel that is only within the domain of creation, and everybody calls it the Falls. And they just look like beautiful, just cascading waterfalls, and then it goes down into this pit of which nobody really knows where that pit goes to. And you see on one side, it's just you. This thing's huge, so you could like see all the way to the other side. It's not like a small circle. It's like a huge circle with like a huge radius within a huge just open area filled with the waterfall. And you see your siblings, Daphne and Ivy and Mayflower and Rosemary and Gilly, just like chilling out there. There's also a few to the side, which are Wisteria and Cypress and Willow and Cedar. And they're all just looking at you angrily. And Willow's the one to speak up and be like, "Did you know?"
Know that y'all were talking behind my back? Yeah.
"Did you know that he was going to choose you?"
No, he sent me away. How am I going to know that?
"You realize you are the one that is supposed to be in the next center, not us. You,
Yeah, I heard
the one
you.
that can't.
I heard
You can't plant anything. You can't make anything stay alive. Why are you the one that gets the center?"
I don't know. I'm as in the dark as you. I was actually about to go talk to good old Bobby and see if like he could tell me, but then I got intercepted by these two here.
And you're getting sort of like circled in at this point by all of them. So like there's no way of you like backing out. Like you're almost caged in a circle by all of them.
I don't understand the vitriol here because I didn't know. I was sent away and the only communication I had with Rob was right before he left. And stuck me with Paz, who, by the way, is a really nice woman.
They're all just like staring at you, glaring. They go, "We're better than you." So the only
I'm not
way,
disagreeing with you there.
the only way that we can have our shot with it and, you know, have a respectful center is if we make you go away.
I mean, if you think about it, I've been away. So.
And then they all look at each other and go, "Not far enough." And you notice that they start like walking toward that giant just hole within the center of the Citadel. And the ones that are the closest to the rim just sort of open up.
You know, I've heard rumors about this hole, that it goes nowhere, that it goes to the void, that it goes to oblivion. Are you really willing to kill me before we actually sit and talk to Robanthus to see why he chose me?
Robanthus has turned to an old crotchety god.
Of course he has. You would too if you were one of the, like, if you were old as shit. So
He stopped.
I can hear his bones creak from Paz's domain.
I'm sorry, I had to crack my fingers.
See, exactly. I can hear his bones creak from Paz's domain. Like, I know how old he is.
Which means he's not in the right mind, which means he chose you wrongly, which means the only way for him to choose one of us is if you go down and don't come back.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just letting y'all know that if you go through with this, it ain't gonna end well for any of you. Because I will find a way back. You can bet your ass on that.
Cypress goes, "Okay." And while you are standing near the edge, he throws one of the terracotta pots at you.
Can I like do a dex
Yeah.
to dodge?
Yeah.
That nice new dex score you got now?
I rolled a 2, a 5, and a 4, which add up to 15 when you add my plus 4 to dex.
4.
Okay.
You're welcome.
That one you were able to very easily dodge.
That was a pretty good pot. I don't know why you threw that. It could have been used for a plant.
And you just hear just like a from Juniper, and she goes, "If you're going to do it correctly." And she goes down on the floor and then starts just like getting boulders to start forming where you are, for one to pop up right where you are standing and to just
Lovely.
sort of pop you off.
How about I save y'all the trouble, and when I come back, y'all ain't surviving this. And then Murphy jumps.
I really didn't think they were gonna "This is Sparta" kick you in there.
I was trying to do that. No, that was when I say the boulders went, it literally just popped him off right there. You could be like, you know what, fuck all you, and just actively do a backflip into it.
And that's what Murphy did.
I do a sick fucking backflip, and I give them all the finger as I go down.
If I'm being quite honest, Ina immediately yelled in my head, "My soup!"
Oh, Murphy's still holding the soup, whether or not it's there when I land. I do, on my way down, I give them the finger, and then I also throw the squid at them, and I'm like, enjoy that, you vegetarians.
What Remy energy. I love it. Enjoy vegetarian.
I can't avoid this, so I might as well just do it on my own.
Like Remy would use vegetarian as an insult. You vegetarians!
Now, to those listeners at home, I personally have nothing against vegetarians. You do you. That's a joke, and I'm sorry that it was a bad joke.
But it was perfect.
It was funny in the moment.
It fit Murphy. Let's be real. Oh, God.
Ina.
Mm-hmm. Am I going to get thrown into a hole?
Yeah, probably.
Hey,
No!
Join me in the hole,
No.
Zoe.
Come to the hole.
The call of the void.
As you are walking toward Anir and Dorian, and as you walk toward Anir with Dorian and Gemma behind you, Anir just goes, "Let's go for a walk."
Okay. She just nods and she has her hand on her sword the whole motherfucking time.
As you're walking through the forest, Anir's just speaking about random stuff, and he's just like, it's crazy how all of us were born from gods. This is our life now.
Is this Anir or Dorian?
This is Anir.
Okay. Yes. That's typically how it works, unless you're one of, and then she points her thumb back, one of Robanthus's children, and you just birthed from a plant?
Yep. Yeah, sorry, I'm going southern. Yeah, that's true. You wanna know what's crazy about just being birthed from one god? And he looks over at you, just casually as he's walking further and further into the forest area.
Mm-hmm. And she goes, well, typically if you're gonna be birthed, you're gonna have two parents.
This is where
She's
Serena
very
says,
confused.
This is where Serena says, "What's that like?" Having two parents, what an idea.
And then she's trying to keep up, and she's but typically Alcinda only lets us know him. So where are we going with this?
Dorian from behind you goes, "We found some records, Serena. Some that we probably weren't supposed to find."
And she's starting to get very wary because she knows she can fucking take Dorian and Gemma in a fight, but she knows for a fact that if Anir, her mentor and father figure, went after her, she no fucking chance. Unless he uses a spear, then I can mountain him to death.
When that was said, you're suddenly in a clearing, and you've heard about this clearing before, just in passing. The falls that are in the center of creation, the ones that have the giant, beautiful waterfalls, but also a giant pit from down below, which you've never heard where it actually goes to.
Why are there so many pits? Why are there so many void holes?
No, there's just this one. The other guy
Okay.
just left.
You should do a perception check to see if you see any calamari.
Okay. I do a perception check to find my soup.
It's
There's
not
just
here,
soup
bitch.
Okay. So I
But
imagine they
you're-
took me on the long walk around and winding so that.
So, just to
gosh.
be clear,
no.
you're on the other side that I described.
Oh, on the other half? Okay.
Yeah.
So is this happening at the exact same time?
No. It's yours is happening after what just happened. So they already left.
Okay.
You know what could destroy the sanctity of the Citadel, Serena?
If one of Alcinda's children decides to make shields?
They just all look at you. Just all three of them at the same time just look at you.
She has an intelligence of 0. I don't know what to tell you.
And Anir just breathes and goes, if one of those children had 2 godly parents.
And I look over at Dorian and Gemma. I'm like, which one of you is it? Which one?
Gemma's just staring at you. It's like,
that's how she's looking at him. That's how she's looking at him. She's like, Anir trusts me with this information. One of them has to be it. What do we do?
Like, is this bitch so fucking for real right now?
Like, that's how she looks. Like, she didn't say which one of you is it because she's like smart enough to not say that. But she's like, like, which one could it be? Like, she's honest. Not. Again, she has an intelligence of 0.
I love that you were just like, I played Remy for too long. She was too smart.
No, I'm just very dedicated to playing to the character sheet, man.
So Dorian and Gemma both release their blades, which you are suddenly realizing that they are not the short blades that they were supposed to bring to this ceremony.
Motherfuckers.
And when you look back at Anir going like, oh, are we fighting them? Is this how it's going? I don't know what those conversations going to. Like, I'm so confused. You see Anir take out his sword, which is also not the short sword.
Did everyone else bring regular blades? Like, I think Serena would say this out loud. So she goes, did everyone else just bring regular blades? This isn't... And then she then charges at Dorian because fuck him.
Okay. No.
So there is a major action that's technically a charge. So I will move up to half my speed rounded down in yards and then make a melee attack against an adjacent enemy. You gain a +1 bonus to your attack roll. So what I'm hearing is I will roll my 3d6, add my fighting, and add 1 more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what causes us to get like a stunt point if we roll like a 6 on our dragon dice, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to make sure I keep track of that. Okay, I got a 6 and a 5, not on the dragon dice, so it's an 11 +3, which is 14, +1 for the charge, which is 15, +3, which is 18, which is a pretty motherfucking great roll.
Yeah, you hit him pretty easily. Now, is your focus, because your intelligence is so low, just focused currently on Dorian right now?
No, I would imagine because she's so well trained in the art. Like, I would imagine when it comes to like her intelligence, it's like she doesn't know how to fucking add and knows how to basically read and like things like, you know, like she's is fully capable of understanding a battlefield. But if you ask her to like be on Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader, she'll be out in like the first round.
Got it.
Yeah. Like that's how she goes. I'm trying to figure out what kind of I got an 18, so that was pretty good. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to say you hit Dorian. You gave him like a good blow.
Okay, so
like
then I would
sword like right through the side
if
of him.
it's a short sword, I would think it would be like a 1d6 plus what, like 1 to damage?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a 3 plus 1, so 4 damage.
Okay. So he's you cut him, like he's cut. He doesn't look like hurt, but he looks like ow, like you just sliced me open.
I cut him in the leg. Just
yeah, and he's like, you can see him like get angry about that, and Alcinder's children getting angry is never a great sign.
Okay, so then that was my major action. So then my minor action will be to stand firm. I will lower my weight and prepare to resist any and all efforts to move you from your place where you stand.
Okay. Gemma will come up to you and just start slashing at you. So she's just going to do basically a armed attack on you.
Okay.
That was a 12.
Okay, so then my armor, I mean, it said like you have like medium armor, so I have it as like a 4, but my armor is 4, but my defense is 12. So do I add those two together? And that would be my technical AC, right? So it would be 16.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it didn't hit.
Did not hit. Damn, look at me go.
Anir comes behind you because you're either are you facing to the side? Are you facing Gemma and Dorian?
I would imagine that she would assume that Anir would help her because he is literally like her father figure, her mentor, the reason that she's not an absolute asshole.
So Anir comes from behind you, you expecting him to be the father figure and the savior.
No, don't do this to me.
And he goes for your shoulder. And he goes, we can't have anything disrupting the balance of the Citadel.
Shit. Okay. So is he touching me or did he try to stab me?
He tried to take a swipe at you. Okay, 6, 7. He didn't hit you, but he was very close to.
Okay. Oh shit! Now I'm fighting 3 people. Oh no!
You gotta go in the pit, babe.
Oh yeah! I know I have to go into the pit, but like, Ina doesn't want to go in the pit. Okay, I can't be like Murphy and be like, bye bitches, and jump into the hole. That's not what Ina would do.
So Dorian, because he didn't have a turn, because you smacked him first, Dorian being bigger than you, but like a fucking brick wall, comes up. And though he is just a captain, he can bench a little bit more than Ina can.
Okay, so since I did stand firm, it would be he would either have to use skirmish or knock prone stunts to move me or knock me to the ground. And they must succeed in an opposed test, pitting their strength or might versus your own strength, might, or dexterity in acrobatics.
He's going to go for your ankles.
He's going to go for my ankles. Okay. So he's going to like kind of like tackle me.
Yeah.
Okay, and my strength.
That was 14.
I haven't rolled yet. My strength, so I got to beat a 14. That's a 6, a 5 on the dragon die, and a 2, so that's an 11 plus 2. That's 13 plus 3, 16. For the first time in forever, I'm rolling great. Usually I roll like shit.
Are you still standing firm, or do you want to do something else?
Well, I imagine he attempted to knock me over. So could I say I want to say he is able to connect, because that just makes sense, because I'm fighting three people. So I imagine he connects but wasn't able to knock me down. So then he's right in front of me on the ground, basically trying. I would imagine he's holding on to my legs, trying to get me to step backwards, right, to knock me over.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just gonna do a melee attack.
Okay.
You attack one adjacent enemy in hand-to-hand combat. Is this? No, I'm not. I'm trying to fall in the hole, damn it. Or else the story won't progress. I'm gonna melee attack Gemma. I'm gonna essentially do a blocking attack, I guess.
Okay.
And then try to swipe her. Alright. So then we said our 3d6 plus our fighting plus 1. Because of just short sword ability. Okay, not a good roll, thank God. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 1 is 8, plus 3 is 10, or 11, plus 1 is 12. Why am I saying thank God? I just, it's not, I know narratively I have to fall in the hole. So me saying thank God, not Ina. And that was my melee attack, and to see if I hit her.
You did not.
I did not.
I just rolled for her.
Perfect. Yeah, because it's her defense plus any armor that she has, I would assume.
Yeah. So she it's a very quick dodge, and from behind you. Now, in the language of what you're doing, it doesn't say anything about you being able to be picked up, does it?
I'm sorry, what?
In the language, it says nothing about if the other person picks you up.
It says in the language, it says an enemy who uses the skirmish or knock prone stunts to move or knock me to the ground must succeed. This test can only be attempted after your opponent spends the relevant stunt points, which we're going to assume that he had stunt points to do this. An opponent who attempts to skirmish you more than once as a part of a single attack to move you on more than 2 yards only makes a single opposed test against you, with all of the other skirmishing movements hanging in the balance. And I would imagine I'm still trying to stand firm of having him not knock me over. So then it would have to be someone else trying to knock me down.
But what if somebody picked you up?
Probably because that's not in the wording. So he's going to pick me up from my little leggies.
And Nier's going to pick you up from your little leggies. From behind. And he goes, I loved you, Serena, but we cannot do this here.
Pedro Pascal, don't.
No, Pedro, don't do it.
Pedro, don't do it.
I'm gonna guess you're you're not being yeah, this is okay. You can totally just toss me. Now I'm gonna guess you're squirming.
I am kicking him. I would imagine him picking me up, probably maybe go whoa, and I probably would have dropped my sword, or I don't know, I would imagine, just for the flavor of it, I drop my sword. I imagine I am kicking, I am biting, I am scratching.
Okay.
I am going to make it known that this motherfucker did something.
He's more intelligent when it comes to these sorts of things, so he's able to focus even with all of this. And because it was such a short distance away, it was just a few steps for him. While you're scratching and biting and trying to get out, he simply just takes you off of him and throws you down into the pit.
Once again, I have another family figure who just doesn't live up, do they? Seems to be a theme in these campaigns.
And you both are falling and falling and falling, and you see the blue of this spacey sky and twinkling stars, and you see the world that your parents look over, the one called Zenall. And is it getting closer? Is it getting closer? You're seeing the pink ocean quicker and quicker, and then suddenly there's a change within the atmosphere itself. It goes from the space, it comes from all of the domains that you guys lived with, all this power, all of this strength suddenly melts away from both of you, where you had like all of this like in you. Suddenly you go from what feels like a level 20 down to a level 1, and you're falling and you're falling. And you notice as you fall, it's night in this world. It's nighttime. There's glittering stars. In the moments that you're falling, you're seeing large buildings that kind of look like the ones in the domain of risk and possibility. You're seeing crystal lamps. You're seeing glowing mushrooms going up the street. You're seeing docks that are made with these dark woods that like you kind of remember smelling the smell of, but you don't fully remember. And you're falling and splash, you're in the ocean now. And in the ocean, it's salty. It's so salty, but also it has like this pink hue to it. And you can see like fish after you fall from that height. You had to have gone down like a few miles down, so you have to start swimming up and up, because suddenly their demigod powers that you had, you're having issues breathing. And if you had your powers, it wouldn't be this much of an issue, but you don't have powers anymore. You can feel you don't have those godly powers anymore, so you're swimming up and up. And Serena, you look to the side of you and you see feet that are a little bit higher up than you, and you're like, that's weird, I think I know those shoes. And you can see them surface before you, and then you pop up next to them, taking a big breath of new air that you're not used to, with the smell of magic in the air, with the smell of what kind of smells like cinnamon and sugar, and it kind of also smells like meat that's cooking, but also you can hear like crowds of people, and also at the same time it's just like waves in your ear and just salt water, and then like birds up above you. But none of this is your world. And when you look to the side of you, you see Murphy also has fallen beside you.
I imagine we're like, is it like dead middle of the ocean? We can't see any land?
No, you can see the land.
Okay. So,
your guys are in like the curve of Asterdale, and that's where the city of Verona is.
Okay. So I imagine we're like up and we're breathing air and we're like gasping for breath and stuff. In true fucking Ina fashion, she's like, Murray, what are you doing here?
Before you say that, Murphy's just gonna surface and be like, well, shit. That sucks. Oh, Serena. Yeah.
You too?
Yeah, did you get betrayed by your own people? As they're like spitting out water and trying to breathe.
That's how you got here? Someone betrayed you?
Yeah, my brothers and sisters didn't like that apparently Rabanthus was gonna choose. Let's talk about this when we get to land. I feel like that's a smarter thing to do, huh?
I'm gonna ask you a really strange question first, okay?
I do not have your soup.
Damn it! I would also like to thank the amazing people at Green Ronin for sending us all the Dragon Age core role-playing rulebook, and it's so beautiful, and I cried.
And sending us all the FantasyAGE PDFs.
And and sending us all the FantasyAGE PDFs. Like, I legitimately, when I got this, I cried because I have been in love with Dragon Age for like so long, and now I get to finally play it in tabletop style along with FantasyAGE, which is essentially the same system. And did you guys know? I gotta get a frame for it. Where is it? There was a fucking map of fucking Dragon Age, of Ferelden and of the northern. And I have to get this frame of Thetis, of Ferelden, and then of the northern territories. And I was like, oh, it's like the entire map of Thetis. And I was like, oh, there's Antiva. And I was like sitting there, and I was like, oh my god, I have to get like it framed in like a professional frame because it's too beautiful.
Well, it's funny too because Mac is like as big a Dragon Age fan as you are. So they were looking through the book and they were like comparing it to what they knew from Dragon Age, and they were like, oh damn.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like all I heard was, oh damn. Oh wow. Oh cool.
Yeah, there's like a whole there's a whole section of like just telling you all about like Thetis and like the entirety of it, and like a whole section on if you want to play a Grey Warden or not. And I was like, oh. And so like I was sitting there and I was like really, really hoping that like Allie or Kyle weren't going to play as like a dwarf, and then I would have to explain that dwarves don't have access to magic in this game. And I was like, I didn't want to have to like go through that whole
I went
explanation.
So, hi, I'm the game goddess still and forever will be. However, I do have to make them NPCs that will keep them on plot. I am dealing with 2 Geminis with chronic ADHD and possible autism. So,
I'm scrolling my phone right now. I just want to let you know.
So, yes, this is our FantasyAGE Dragon Age campaign. Yay!
Yeah, and I know we said it
only
already,
took
but
me.
like big shout out to Green Ronin.
Yeah.
If you guys,
Oh my god.
you can cut this out, Allie, but do we have a code still?
We do! You can actually, if you want to check out Dragon Age, which is now being printed again, hell yeah! Or FantasyAGE or any other game, you know, like the Mutants and Masterminds ones that we did before this, you can actually go to Green Ronin and type in our fun little code Dice Drop, and it will give you 10% off your entire purchase.
Yeah.
Yay!
Green Ronin has been really good to us, so we want to be good to you guys.
We appreciate
Give you a discount.
them.
Okay, so
I think I cried at one point because I saw Morrigan in here, and I was like, look at her! Morrigan is like my favorite character.
In the wise word of the Black Eyed Peas, let's get it started.